Hey guys, what's happening? Welcome back. For those of you that are new here, my name is Kovi and welcome to the Plant King channel where we discuss everything plant related. Okay, so today I need to repot some of my plants as well as put them up on stakes on moss poles. So I thought it would be a great opportunity to take you guys along and show you how I make my own moss poles. The plants that we're going to be staking up today is going to be, well, I've already done one and I'll show you guys a picture or I'll insert a video of it later, but we still need to do this philodendron painted lady. Now, this sexy beast is looking a little shabby, as you can see, because it's just put up on a bamboo pole. But once it's going to be staked up on a moss pole, it's going to look much more sexier than what she's looking right now. So we're going to sort that out a bit later, but I'm going to show you a plant that I know some of you guys have been asking to do a video on. I haven't gotten around to do a proper video on this because I don't have much experience in this plant, but I want to show you guys this plant because it is already staked up on a moss pole that I did, and it is this really stunning and the jewel of my plant collection, the philodendron melanochrysum. And this is just a really sexy velvety plant that's in its juvenile form at the moment. And as it matures, I'm hoping that as it grows more upwards and it'll get more mature leaves. The mature leaves kind of look more long and elongated. It is put up on a moss pole that I made myself. So just to show you guys. But yeah, so how I make my moss poles and the things that you're going to need. Number one, you're going to need a stake. You're going to need something that's going to be sturdy enough. Like you can use, this is, I think it's these electrical conduit pipes. You can use these things. You can use bamboo poles. I think like bamboo grows like crazy, so I'm sure if you find anyone that has these trees growing in their home, I think they wouldn't mind if you take a stake or two off them. You can also use things like this polycop water pipe, or you can use something that you can recycle in your home, such as a broomstick. Now, I know that some of you guys probably have grass brooms in your home, and generally when your grass brooms get kind of shabby, you tend to throw them out. Don't throw them out. Take out the end part. It's just nailed in or it's tied in with some wire. Just clip those off, and then you can save this pole and you can make a moss pole out of it. So that's one thing. And what else do we have? I think today I'm going to be using this PVC volleyball post from one of my volleyball nets that I no longer use. So it's already cut in an angle that I generally do cut my stakes in. Like if I had to have this conduit, I'll normally cut it in a 45-degree angle in the bottom just to help stake it into the soil. But yeah, today we're just going to use this volleyball, half volleyball post, or part of it. I don't know. But yeah, we're going to use this here for putting up the moss. The other things that you're going to need is cocoa coir or coconut husks. Now, it's easier to find this cocoa coir in almost any nursery. I picked this up at actually Salaji's Hardware in Bel Air, and it's just practically cocoa coir that's I think just teased out, or like just strands of it that's put together. Not such a huge fan of using this, but when I don't have my coconut husks, then I use this because this tends to look a bit, I think, like a little bit untidy compared to the actual coconut husks that I use. But it's the same thing, same materials, comes from the coconut, but it's just a more teased out version. As you can see, it's like very straw-like. But I'm going to show you the coconut husk that I use. It's actually from Cleaning Coconuts, and it's just coconut husks like this. So I got this coconut husk when if you're South African, you know that There's Kavadi season in January, February. So whichever one of my friends are doing a big prayer, they generally use a lot of coconuts. So I just ask them to save me the coconut husks instead of throwing them away. And I can utilize them in making my moss poles. And when you use these coconut husks, I feel that your moss poles come out way neater than using the teased out types of coconut husks. You can also use things like your sphagnum moss, but it takes ages for sphagnum moss to grow, so it's not a very sustainable industry. So that's why I always try to use byproducts of coconuts. And I mean, the coconut, you can use the entire thing. Another thing that you're going to need is twine. Now, you're going to need a twine that's very strong, because you're going to want to pull the coconut husk quite tightly around the pole. And you don't want to use cotton or anything that's too thin, that'll just snap when you pull it too tight. You can also use fishing wire, but I tend to like using this twine. You're also going to need scissors. You can either use a short one or any scissors that you find. I use this scissor that I picked up. I'm not even sure where I picked this scissor up, but yeah. And I also use my aquarium scissors. Now, these long aquarium scissors are really, really handy to keep in your plant collection or in your plant toolbox, because especially when it comes to pruning your plants and reaching into those hard to get areas, especially with bushy plants, these tend to work really, really well. So I'd highly advise you getting one of these. I will leave links in the description below where you can get scissors like these. Okay, what else do we need? Okay, if you're gonna tie your plants up, then you're gonna need something to fasten or tie up your plants on the moss pole. I just use these, it's like thin, I'm not sure if you can see this, but it's just thin copper wire that I stripped out from some electrical cords. You can use zip ties, you can use practically anything to tie your plant to the moss pole. So let's get to the next step, which is preparing your coconut husks. Now, you do want to prepare your coconut husks before you just start putting them up. Now, I did prepare all my coconut husks in this container, but I left 2 out just to show you guys in case. What you want to do is, with the coconut husk, it tends to be a little bit stiff, so you want to just bend it back, because it comes in this curve, as you can see. It comes in a curve, and you want to just bend it back, so you kind of like breaking the fibers, so you're making it a bit more workable. So once you bend it back, then you're gonna wanna just like separate the husks a bit, by just like ripping it apart like that, but not ripping it completely out of the whole thing. So you just want to break it up like that. Can be kind of hard. If you don't have the strength, you can always just use a knife or a scissor. But you just want to separate the fibers kind of like that. So you open it up a bit and then you close it up. So you get more volume and you get more workability with the coconut husks, because it can be a bit stiff and hard to work with at times. But yeah, you just want to do that there. Okay, so the next thing that you want to do is get the pot that you're going to be planting up your plant in. And I am going to be using this this plastic container here for putting my philodendron painted lady in. And you're going to want to take your stake that you're using and measure measure to the top of the pot that you're going to put your plant in. And once you measure that, you're going to want to put a mark to where it is. So I'm going to put a mark to see where you're going to mark it there, and that's where the top of your pot is. Now, the reason why I put that mark there is because you don't want to start your cocoa peat or your cocoa coir, right from the base of the stake, because this pot is going to be going into the soil. So what you're going to do is, wherever you marked it, to the top of your pot, you're going to just want to go maybe 5 centimeters below that, and that's where you're going to start your coconut husk, or placing your coconut husks. So we're going to go ahead and start placing our coconut husks. And before we start placing our coconut husks, we have to tie our string down at the bottom first. So you're going to take a long piece like this, just place it, I'm just going to put it there, and you're just going to tie the string to the bottom because we need it to hold at this spot, because as we place our coconut husks, we are going to be winding this around the coconut husk to keep it in place. So let's start with the placement. So you're going to take, maybe to go around these poles, you're going to need about around about 4 pieces of coconut husks, and then you're just going to place it around the pole. So you're just going to place it like that, place another one there, just going to place it all around. And once it's placed, you just want to check around that there's no bald spots, and then with one hand you're going to hold the top part of the coconut husk, and then with the other you're going to want to go around it, and you're going to want to kind of pull a little tight. I think I should have just cut off this extra long piece that's here. It's in the way. So you're going to want to have to pull this tight and keep on going. And as you can see, pulling it tight enough that the coconut husks are forming like this lump there. And you just keep on going. Now you see what I mean when you need a really strong piece of cotton, because when you pull it tight enough, it can snap. But this really happens with this twine, but I'm going to try again. Not pull this too hard this time. Yeah. Put it around. And then once you get to the top of the end part there, all you do is just take more coconut husks and add it. You just add it onto the pieces on top, and you keep on doing that there until you cover the whole pole. And once that's covered, I'll show you guys what you're going to do to the top of the pole. So I'm just going to finish this up, winding it up, and then I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to be doing on the top. Okay, so now we reach the top of the moss pole, and what you want to do is you want to take like a thick piece of coconut husks, like a thick piece like this, put it on the top in the middle, place it on the middle like that, and just fold it down. Once you fold it down, you know that the top is covered, and then all you have to do is just cover this small spot and this small spot that's in there. So you can use a small piece of coconut husks, or maybe something like that, and then you can trim it off later on. And let's see if we got another that piece we can use there. So you're just going to do that. Get a nice long piece of string. I'm going to try to make a knot, because generally with coconut husks it kind of like stays in that position. So you want to take that, hold it here with the one finger and wrap around here, and then you got 2 pieces. So you can just tie a knot that way and it should stay in place. Tie it there. And once you're done there, just cut out the excess cotton I've made a huge mess, so if you don't see me next week, you know, guys, I got murdered. So, but yeah, now you see there's two pieces here. What you're gonna do is you're gonna cut that off. And there you have your moss pole. Now, what I like to do after I make my moss pole is, also you'll notice that there's a lot of hairs that are sticking out there. So I generally take my scissor, my aquarium scissor, and I just give it like a nice haircut. You can use your aquarium scissor, or you can even use this. I'm sure it'll be fine to just kind of neaten it up so none of the strands are sticking out and looking untidy. Okay, so I think we're done with this moss pole, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to stake up my plant in this or onto this moss pole. But before I do that, I'm going to go and quickly prepare my philodendron painted lady, and then once that's prepared, I'm going to come back and show you how I place this in a pot and stake up my plant. Okay guys, so I have my moss pole, I have the container that I'm going to put my plant in, I've got my potting soil, and I've got my plant already. And the first thing that you're going to want to do is take your moss pole, and the piece that doesn't have any moss in it, you're going to stick it right at the bottom of the pot. Now, I do have some pumice rock at the bottom just to give more volume for when I'm using soil, because I don't generally use any of the rocks or anything that you see most people putting at the bottom of the pots, mainly because the saturation level tends to start getting higher with the more rocks that you put at the bottom, which is not good for your plants and its root system. But with this pot being such a long pot, I thought that it would be fine and it will help me use less soil than I actually need to. So first thing, you place your stake right at the bottom of your pot, and you start filling in some soil around it. So I'm just going to put just a little soil, maybe about, depending on the pot size that you have, it can be anywhere between like 5 centimeter, 10 centimeter, 15 centimeter. You should just judge it and see for yourself where your plants are going to actually sit. And if it's stable enough, then you're going to want to take your plants. Now, there was 3 separate plants in that one pot, so I'm just going to use 2 of the larger stuff, the 2 larger specimens, and the smaller one I'm just going to put in a smaller pot. But yeah, I'm going to use 2 for this project, and you're going to want to place your plant in, hold it in there. And you take your larger one, and you place it in. Okay, so I think I found a cool positioning for this plant, and I'm going to go ahead and fill up this pot with soil and set it in. Okay, so now that we've got our plant put in the pot, the soil added, and it's stabilized, now we're going to just take wire and we're going to just pull it together against the pole, and it should be fine. So, okay guys, so here's the end result. You can see it's looking much better than when it was on the bamboo pole. I'll insert footage of the full view of the painted lady. It's a bit hard to get this whole thing in the shot, but I will also include footage of the other moss poles of the plants that I staked up over the last few months, and as well as the philodendron panduriforme, the fiddle leaf philodendron that I staked up yesterday. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of the planty content that I bring you every week. So until next week, cheers guys.